My name is Benjamin, and this is my recovery story. My struggle with sexual sins started when I was probably about 14 years old. I was babysitting somebody, and I thought, I bet this family probably has pornography somewhere. I grew up in a very good Christian home, no access to it, for many years no TV. And so I just kind of searched, not because I had seen it yet, but because I was just curious. And when I found it, it was almost like an instant addiction. I felt when I saw porn for the very first time, I'd never seen anybody be so vulnerable. I was just incredibly intrigued, scared, knew it was wrong but couldn't turn it off. I felt incredible shame because I was doing these things, but it felt incredibly good. And I would keep a journal sometimes and beg God to help me not to, I didn't even know what the term was. I heard some guys at work say jack off one time, so I'd say help me not to J-O. And I would feel this shame, but at the same time, it was pleasurable. And I felt like it was wrong, but I didn't know what to do with it. I felt like there was no one I could talk to. And really my struggle was masturbation, because I didn't even have access to pornography. You know, I lived a long time off of a few images, and I was a preacher's kid. I didn't want to tell my dad because I had leadership positions as a teenager, and I was afraid I'd lose those. I didn't want to tell my youth leader because he'd be so ashamed of the preacher's kid. No, nobody knew all through my teenage years. I've learned that healing from sexual brokenness is not about following a strict regimen of behaviors that I don't engage in. It's really about my heart. At Be Broken, Gateway to Freedom, I had a moment where I just said, I am broken. For years, I saw myself as a failure. Like, God created you so you can run this life perfectly. Every time I failed, it was almost like I wouldn't acknowledge it's not my fault. I mean, it is my fault. I made the choice to do wrong. But I have a flesh, a sin nature. And the difference in how I look at healing now is admitting that I will never be able to conquer this on my own. And always before, it was like, God, help me fix this, with the emphasis on me. Now it's, God, help me fix this, please. And then He puts people in my life and tools to help me fix it. I don't have to do it by myself. In fact, I cannot do it by myself. No part of the recovery is about me. When I begin to think that it's how good I can be at the recovery, that's when I fail again. God's grace is incredible. The ministry is called Be Broken, and what that meant to me was, come here, we're going to break you so bad that you go home and go, oh, it's so terrible what I do, I'll never do it again. And instead I came to be broken and learned that they graced me. They showed mercy. They accepted me unconditionally. I could tell them everything, even my deepest, darkest perversions or misconceptions and my deepest, darkest sins. And I was still loved and cared for the same. I didn't have to put on a show. And that's what grace is to me. I can be completely who I am. It doesn't excuse my behavior, but God doesn't love me any less because of my failures. In fact, He knows that I have those failures. There are probably two things that I would want someone to know who was drowning in their sexual brokenness. First of all, you're not alone. And secondly, you can't get out of it alone. So get help. Do whatever it takes to take the first step, and then God will come through and just help you. But you've got to take the first step and reach out for help. And Be Broken is not a place where you will come to be shamed. It's a place where you will come and be loved, be anonymous, and be helped. I came to be broken, looking to get some tools to fix this little problem in my life, and then go back home. And, you know, it's like I'm going into the repair shop, get fixed, and I'll go back, I'll be fine. When I got here, I realized that pornography was just the symptom of a heart problem. And yet they didn't preach me a new heart, and they didn't force me to have a new heart, and they didn't shame me into a new heart. They literally demonstrated the grace of God. And I taught people hundreds of sermons about grace, but I never understood it like I did until after I got to spend some time with Jonathan and Stephen and Lee, and just see and hear and learn from them and hear their stories. It was life-changing. I've never experienced joy like the joy once I had the tools in hand to maintain my purity. I mean, I didn't get perfection given to me, but I got the tools to stay on the path. I got the direction that I needed, and I got the relationships and the friendships, and oh my goodness, joy. I can't get, the joy is incredible. It's indescribable.